It's Paul Marsh here on Express, and I am absolutely over the moon delighted to be joined by England football legend Fara Williams, MBE, and M&S Eat Well nutritionist Sophia Linn. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Fara, can I just say, come on, England. Come on, England.
Love it. I took my badge off.
Is that what you got to do? Is that part of the rules of
Yeah,
retiring
covered
now?
it.
You have to take the badge off. Oh, that's sad. Fara, 177 caps, 40 goals. You weren't bad at football, were you?
I was all right.
It was all right.
I
Most
wasn't
capped
bad.
England player ever.
I know, crazy to think, right?
I mean, is that something you wake up every day and go, oh, I've got the most caps for England?
Definitely not. Just you guys remind me all the time. It's nice to be reminded, for sure. It's nice to be reminded. Yeah, it's spanned over a 19 and a half year career. So, yeah, many of years given to the game for sure.
I mean, yeah, so you began your England career in 2001, retired in 2019. That is a huge growth era for women's football, isn't it? So I would imagine that the change that you literally saw in that sort of 18-year period is massive.
Yeah, huge. I think the fact that we're talking now is one of the differences. I think the fact that it's broadcasted, I think the fact that we're sat here with an M&S campaign, around nutrition shows how far the game's come because, I mean, some of the food choices I used to make as a young player, being really uneducated, not really knowing what the right thing was to do. I was really a street kid that played football, and because I played football and was so active, thought I could eat anything and everything I wanted. And obviously I didn't really get that educational piece around nutrition till the back end of my career when I turned professional for a few years before retiring. So it's great that now we have nutritionists on board within the game because it's an area that I believe throughout, my playing years was one that really did need to be tackled.
At what point in your career did you sort of make that change, like you say, from eating whatever you wanted, your pre-match meals of a pot noodle or, a sugar
Like a
sandwich?
pot noodle.
So at what point did that sort of all really start coming in and they would say, no, you should be eating this before a game or the night before?
Yeah, I think it more happened at international level. They would have a chef and a nutritionist on board in camp. So obviously the food that then was put out was limited in terms of your choices. So they'd probably guide you towards making better choices by the layout of food that was there for you. I mean, I remember when we first used to go with England, some of the stuff, we'd have like mashed potato, fish fingers, beans and gravy. So and now you get like the really posh,
fairly balanced.
and then I learned about the really posh fishes and stuff like that, and and vegetables that I'd never heard of. So yeah, it definitely changed along the way. But I was still learning about food, and I still am now. It's not something that I'm fully know what best suits me. I know when I played and there was this whole perception around carbohydrates being a devil, when I reduced them from my diet and was playing and trying to train at the level that was required for me to compete at the top, my performances dipped massively. On the eye, I felt good in terms of what I looked like and what I thought people would look at and go, oh, she looks great because, she's slim and trimmed down. But actually performing and being able to sustain at that, sustain a level of performance, I never was able to when I was at a weight or when I was reducing, as I mentioned there, carbs for sure was one of the key things that I'd reduced, which then hindered my performance. So it was only when I ate correctly, and what I mean by that is had a balance between actually I need carbohydrates because it actually helps my performance. I need sugars, I need fats, I need protein, I need all of these things in moderation. Did I get the right balance in terms of performance and feeling really good about playing 90 minutes and even the recoveries? It's not even just so much playing 90 minutes, it's what next, it's the day after, how your body feels and how quickly can it recover. I think once you got that balance right, which was really late in my career, the better I was able to perform. But mentally, I think it's, in terms of image in the women's game, it's something you've got to be really strong-minded about and know that actually it's not about image, it is about, performance. And I think that's something with women that we really struggle and we have battles every day in our heads about. So the fact that Sophia's here with M&S and really trying to educate and provide our lionesses firstly with the right food choices, but then obviously them being role models and some of the young players being able to see them make those choices, and with the product being in store, hopefully the younger generation will see that and choose to make those better choices as well.
Well, like you say, obviously the the nutrition came into the men's game with Arsene Wenger in the 90s. So I think we all assume, no, everybody knows what you need to eat. But like you say, the difference between what the men need to eat and the difference between what the women need to eat, or what they do eat, is very, very different. Why is that, Sophia? What the difference between the men and the women when they're preparing for a game?
Well, nutrition isn't a one size fits all approach. So, even between individuals, but also between men and women as well. And we do need more research in this area to really understand some of the key differences to be able to really fuel yourself to perform at your best. At M&S, we're really focusing on how can you have the right things, whether you're on the pitch or on the playground, to perform at your best and eat well to play well. But really, when we think about women's nutrition, there's some key nutrients that are of concern. So, things like iron, calcium are really important in the female game as well, because they impact things like calcium impacts your bone strength, and when you're doing prolonged periods of exercise, it's really important to think about your bone mineral density and also reduce your risk of osteoporosis later in life. Particularly as well through the menstrual cycle, that's when your iron stores are depleted. So ensuring that you're focusing more on having foods that are higher in iron is really key as well in terms of that preparation. But before a game, one of the key things that Farah's mentioned is around this underfueling. So not getting enough energy to perform for long periods of time. Now, underfueling, there's a number of different reasons cited for this happening, but we do need more exploration into why this is happening. But carbohydrates, as we know, sometimes they have been demonized in the past, but actually we really need to think about the significant amount of carbohydrates that the players need before performing for long periods of time to make sure they're fueled throughout the whole match.
I wish she was around when I played. It's getting me annoyed now.
Yeah.
That, I'm getting all this information now, and it would really have helped.
If only you might have got that extra cap or two, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or free.
It is great that, we are coming all along the right routes and we're doing the right things now. Better late than never, as they say. Yes, it would have been nice if it was 10, 20 years ago, but at least we're getting there. Because I interviewed the coaches of a group of under-10s girls that just recently won a futsal competition last weekend. So, they will get to benefit from all of this in 10 years' time when they hopefully are all England footballers themselves. That'll be really, really nice to see. And I can think back on these times and go, I know why they're doing so well.
Exactly that.
Before I let you go, I do have to ask, of course, the World Cup begins tomorrow. England's first game on Saturday. Favourites are USA, England, Spain and Germany. Farah, have we got a chance? Who's going to win it?
We have a chance for sure. I think, putting us amongst, those four nations, we have a great chance. I think USA have the nicer side, the nicer journey through to the final. So I can see them reaching the final if they perform. Yeah, and I think ourselves or Germany. So I think that game where we meet, I think at the quarterfinal stage will determine who goes on to the final. So
how is it weeks away?
I hope it's us, but I'm not. I hope it's us. I hope it's us.
Sophia, if people want to find out a little bit more about M&S Eat Well Nutritionists, where can they do that?
Well, absolutely. Head into store, look out for the flour on pack, follow the flour for healthy choices, and you'll be able to find lots more healthy and delicious choices.
And who doesn't want to look out for a flower, right?
Well, this is it.
And it's yellow, and yellow is sunshine.
And it's positive, beautiful. Exactly.
Farah, Sophia, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it. And best of luck to both of you guys, and best of luck to England over the next month.
Thank you.
Thanks.